That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Great music. Love that music. Hi, I'm Jim Lowenstern. So, what are we going to be doing today on the Exponential Files? We are going to have our second eXp out of the Boston area guest, and that is Katherine McAninch.
McAninch.
What's that?
McAninch. Katherine
Okay.
McAninch.
Okay, or Cat, as she likes to be called. And we're going to be talking about some exciting things that have happened this week. And Larry, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Jim. It's been a exponential week here
Okay,
in
that's
Boston.
great. Well, let's kick off this puppy. You have some questions for Kate, or is it Cat? I'm sorry, Cat.
Hey, Kat. Before we get to talking about your luxury property, let's talk little bit about eXp because you have lived all over the world. Your father was an ambassador. You've lived in a number of different countries, and I know later in the show I definitely want to ask you something about Amada Marco's shoe collection because she lived in Mexico or visited you in Mexico. But you started out in Spain selling property, kind of relocation things, and you're kind of doing that in Miami where you are right now. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So let me just make a quick correction. Imelda Marcos never visited me in Spain. I'm sorry, in Mexico. We were stationed in Manila, so I would frequent
The
the cocoa
Philippines.
fountain.
Yeah.
She had all of her shoes were actually placed in the cocoa fountain, so I would run around them. Anyway, yeah, so I started off real estate in Spain, lived there for about 7-8 years, and my specialty was, or what I focus on, were relocating expats, the Brits and the Irish, moving into Spain. So helping them from start to finish, through remodeling, through helping them get, secure their doctor's appointments, getting them set up with what is the social security system in Spain. So people that, just became family, actually, lots of them.
Kind of a concierge service, which the luxury people really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And in Miami, what I'm trying to focus on is also relocation, being that there's so many that are constantly moving to Miami, and Microsoft just announced a few months ago, about having about 1,500 new employees with new offices for Latin America, as well as others. I mean, Blackstone, just many pharmaceuticals as well. Lots of companies moving to Miami. So there's always been a need, for the relocation market, mostly from Latin America, but now for the U.S. Domestic market of folks moving here. So
right
here, I'm happy to help.
Well, I know a lot of people in the Boston area, and I know a lot of Canadians love to come to Florida. And you're in South Miami. Your properties right now are in South Miami.
Correct. Well, the very high-end, very luxury market one, that is South Miami, more specifically Ponce Davis. It's an unincorporated, it's in a great location. I mean, it's 2-3 minutes walking distance from a private beach, marina, water sports. So it's not waterfront, but you can literally bike to one of the best beaches Miami has to offer. And you're still about 15 minutes from the main airport and about 15 minutes from the Opa-locka Airport, which is the private.
Sure. And this is certainly a property for someone who loves architecture because the seller is also the architect and he's a devotee of Frank Lloyd Wright, and the house has many features where everybody knows that you bring the outside in those types of houses. Lots of light, lots of wood. That's pretty exciting.
So I have a question about that house. I did see a swimming pool. I did see a lot of lush landscaping. And was there much in the way of lawn or curb appeal?
No, no lawn at all. Actually, the owner, the architect, Cheo and his then wife, Trish, were enthusiasts of plants and nature and gardening. So they actually spent many years traveling around the world looking for plants that they'd want to have
Right.
in their
Right.
homes. They would bring them. So everything that is planted is actually, I mean, there's plants there that cannot be found unless you really, really search, and you find them maybe in the South Pacific.
I'm going to show the property while we're talking here.
And the house itself was built within a coral rock pit. This home has withstood Hurricane Andrew. I mean, it never gets flooded, and it's in a no flood zone. So as you can see here, the pool is a lap pool. The architect was a swimmer back in the swim team in his university days. So he very much enjoyed keeping up with the swimming at home. So what's very interesting here is that being an architect, his family owned a business where they built many of the Bloomingdales and Saxford Avenues around many of the big major shopping outlets throughout the United States. He made sure to design this home with reinforced steel frames, which these homes nowadays are not being built that way. He also had California redwood brought in for this. Another material that is just, it's organic, it's beautiful, it's very expensive. There's no home out there or in today's market that's being built with these types of materials. So structurally, foundation-wise, the house is, it really is like a fortress. And as you can see, there's two or three grottos out there.
Yeah, this is like Falling Waters in Pennsylvania. I believe that is, or is that Ohio? But it's very reminiscent of his work. Let's go on to actually the seller is this guy. He's an artist and
architect and artist. Mm-hmm.
And architect and an artist. Architects think they're the greatest artists. That's what they say to all of them. But the discipline, and this is his sculpture as well. Is any of this part of the sale?
No.
Last week we had a guest on from Spain, and not only were they selling the property, but they were selling all the art in the property as well.
They haven't mentioned wanting to sell any of the items, but you never know. Everything, everything's up for grabs. So, like I say, make an offer. But, he's very much influenced by Antonio Gaudí. I don't know if you're familiar, a very famous architect in Spain. Built La Familia in Barcelona.
How far away from the ocean is the house?
3 minutes. 3 minutes. It's a 3-minute walk.
And that waterfall, is that a man-made, pumped up waterfall?
Yeah, they're grottos. He's got 3 grottos throughout the property where they has a pump.
Okay.
And he'd use, I think, one of them sometimes in the past he'd have for like koi fish.
So how do you market that? You must have to market that out of your area as well, because the wealthy are everywhere. So what are you doing to approach that?
Well, I'm reaching out to all the brokers within eXp, right? All of our international offices, trying to connect with the high-end luxury side of each of these brokers and promoting the property. And the owner in this case is very camera friendly. He's not shy, and he doesn't mind jumping in on calls or for any questions. And we can do virtual. And then if a buyer is interested, we're more than happy to show them around. And really, this is quite a unique property. In Miami, have beautiful homes, right? And the newer properties are all very cookie cutter. Right, we have the boxes, beautiful, the windows. That's personally, it's what I like. But this home is really for someone who values privacy and
their own privacy.
Their own privacy, exactly.
Yeah,
Being able to still be within Miami, the proximity of the best schools. We do have the best private schools in that area. Having a marina 3 minutes away, having a very small, almost semi-private beach right away. So you're shopping. I mean, the best parts of Coconut Grove is right 2 minutes away. So you really are in the heart of Miami. I'm not talking Miami Beach, I'm talking Miami, South Miami. and you have the convenience of that. But the minute you drive into the property, it's like you've gone off to Jurassic Park for the outside part. I mean, really, it just, the sounds of the waterfalls, the grottos, the birds, the trees that you see are not, it's greenery that you don't find even walking around any park in Miami.
Did I see a banyan tree? Is that the tree with the vines growing up it?
Yeah, there's several banyan trees in Miami, and especially in the front of the property. There's one or two of them, and then inside, I believe, by the circular driveway. But yeah, the banyan trees in that part of South Miami are very common. There's a road called Old Cutler Road, and that's just, it's beautiful. It's lined with many banyan trees. So, but those are more specific to that specific area.
Right.
So who do you envision the buyer to be for a property like that?
Someone who, if they're willing to do some renovations inside, because it really is a child-proof home. The home has a loft. I mean, it would be fun, I think, if a child or any child that walks into the house, they want to run all over the place, but it's not very safe for a child. So either a couple or family that doesn't have younger children, or if there is, there are planning on having smaller, younger children, and then they have to be aware that there is some updating to be done on the inside, just for safety as far as steps. And
it's a gated community, isn't it?
It's not a community. It's a gated home. It's a private home. It
Right.
sits on 33,000 square feet. It's on a corner lot. And the house itself, the structure is 4,600 square feet, 2 stories. So
That's a lot of open space.
It's all. See, the way he built it was so that when you're in the inside of the home, no matter where you're standing, whether it's in the sitting area, the living room, or what you would like to call the champagne area, where they'd sit and have a cocktail at 5 o'clock, it's cocktail time, and they call that the champagne room. No matter where you're sitting in the home, you have a free form of just space, and you have a lot of glass, and you're able to look and you get a very organic, fresh feel.
Right.
It's more of an open, it's an open concept for sure.
I wonder if it's considered an historical home because of its unique architecture in that area. Do the towns do that in your area?
They do. They do have a historical preservation, but not in Ponce Davis, which is specifically the unincorporated area.
Right.
Only a few blocks. It's not very big, that specific area, but they don't. What it is very close to Fairchild Botanical Tropical Garden, which is actually was named one of the best top botanical gardens in the United States. And they've been wanting to come in and partake in bringing folks for tours to see some of the garden area because of its rarity and the species.
Right.
So we have a couple of questions. We're live on YouTube.
Is that happening? You're able to see it, Jim?
Yeah. So
that's great.
Question for Kat. Someone wants to get more information about relocation specific to eXp. So I don't know if
you're a relocation specialist, Kat. I know that.
Well,
so.
I'm certified. I took this relocation certification with eXp. That's one of their requirements, right? If you want to work under the relo branch for eXp. So I got certified a long time ago. And basically what I do is I work with the consulates, the local consulates, and some of the larger corporations where, I've built a relationship with the human resources departments. And
how many languages do you speak?
Only 2. Only 2, English and Spanish. Spanish, of course, I'm fully bilingual. My mother's Colombian and grew up in Mexico City. I would say English, I try to speak it as best possible, but honestly, I think in Spanish and I process it in English, or the way it comes out is in English. So I'm constantly translating. I do understand Portuguese and Tagalog, which is the main language in the Philippines. I used to be able to pick up. Now I know if I start watching some soap operas or some programming in Tagalog, I'd probably pick it up again. But yeah, no. English and Spanish.
That's
okay. So how do potential buyers or sellers who are interested in the relo services get in touch with you?
They call me. 305-975-8716, or my email is.
Say that a little bit slower.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that it would
Yeah,
come out
we kind of just sprung that on people.
Okay.
Now you
So,
have your pens.
have
Go
your
ahead.
pen.
It'd be funny if your phone rings during the show because
Oh, that would be awesome.
305.
305, which is the area code from Miami, 975-8716.
And what's the international code? 01 for
01.
US?
Correct.
Yeah.
01.
Operators
Okay,
are
so we have
standing
another
by.
we actually have a second question.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. When it rains, it pours. Can you use Airbnb in this area of Miami after the sale?
That's
I
a
don't
good
know why.
question.
I don't see why not. It's not, there's no HOA. I mean, as long as you follow the Airbnb guidelines and the home has.
So,
So what do you think that would rent for per night? Have you looked into the comparable?
Yeah, I mean, they've rented it out for, like, say, for Vogue. Vogue's come out and done shoots. Most recently, Timbaland, music producer, used the house for location for the shooting of some of his new videos as well as his album cover. And I believe, I can't say what they charge him for that, but I know if they were to rent out the entire house per night, I want to say anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 per night.
5,000 to 7,000 per night?
Yes.
Okay.
that doesn't seem outrageous. I mean,
And it depends what time, what time of the month.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, Larry. Last week we had a monastery that was 71,000 square feet with a vineyard for about 4 million.
4 or 5, yeah.
I think, yeah. And this is $10 million more.
Yeah. Well, Miami versus northern Spain.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be one thing. And this looks like, even though it's dated, it's not dated 13th century. That's really dated.
Very, very true. Very
Yeah.
true.
I-
So, yeah.
I do think, and what you talked about was making it a hotel and bringing the vineyard back. That was a great idea for that property. This one, I just think an athlete or someone who understands architecture.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely, someone who will appreciate the structure.
Right.
It is beautiful. I mean, it is truly special. It is for someone who will appreciate architecture, and the privacy, and the gardens, of course.
And the birds. Do you have any parrots in the trees there?
Oh, Miami, I hear them in my backyard. You have parrots, little parrots, of course, not the big ones that you can see, but they fly all over the place all the time. You can sit outside without melting for a little bit. You do hear them.
I actually got my first real estate license by taking the Florida exam in a big warehouse kind of building in Miami.
Yeah.
It was probably 95 outside and it was probably 55 inside. And they warned us, bring a sweater. Like, I don't know who lives in Florida and has a sweater. When I moved to Florida, I got rid of basically everything and just came with a bathing suit and a t-shirt and flip-flops.
It's always so cold inside everywhere. Everywhere we go inside, it's, you have to keep it that way. It's too hot, especially now the summer.
Yeah, you live indoors.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about eXp and as a group, our little group here, the Castles International Luxury Group has actually grown a little bit this week with more agents joining us. And the goals that we're setting for ourselves is to be competitive with any real estate brand in the luxury market. I'm not going to use the word snob brands because we can all be snobby. What we're doing is just having the best brokers with the best properties and with the best marketing. At the end of the day, we all do the same thing. So no one's better or worse. And we're bringing the Castle's brand to an international platform, eXp. I mean, I was in a meeting today. There were almost 1,000 brokers in this meeting. The technology is such that wherever we are, we're there. It's not like 1,000 agents had to fly in to rent a room to get to this meeting, and it was pretty amazing. So
That's
I'm
part of
quite
it.
happy.
That's part of the EXP metaverse, right?
Yeah, but I think it's even beyond that. It's the concept, or I should say, one bit of the conceptual fabric of the company that is a little difficult to grasp because there's so much that it offers. But I think when you boil it down, the technology is bringing agents together.
Yeah.
So that's the main advantage. The business model, it's basically a full-blown franchise with whatever name you want to put on it for $85 a month, including all the technology, with no money up front. Or maybe it's, I don't know, what would you say? It's like $75 up front or something?
Well, there is. I know when I came on there wasn't, but that's because how I came in. There's sometimes I think it's 140 something.
149, including the first month fee.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's like $70.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's really short money for all the technology that you have, in particular because everything is connected to everything. Your CRM is connected to your database, is connected to your CRM is your database, but it's connected to your DigiSign, so you have electronic signature. It has all of your paperwork that you need, and this is an international company. And think of all the different documents that are there, and it's
Well, we hit 82,000 agents this week.
so
Pretty impressive. I think the company.
I love the fact that the whole metaverse part kind of blew up this year, right? A lot of folks who didn't know about the metaverse or never heard about it. Thank you, Facebook, right? Them just changing the name to Meta. And what I love when I meet someone and they say, eXp, I haven't heard of it, or where are you guys? And I said, well, you heard of the metaverse? They're like, yes, we have. I said, okay, well, we've been there since 2013. And that right there.
Well, it's longer than that because 10 years ago, I sat in a meeting with Glenn Sanford. It might have even been 11 years at this point.
Okay.
And he was showing off eXp World back then.
So that just really sets us apart from anyone,
Right.
any other company out there.
Right.
We really are at the forefront, leaders in technology, and while everyone else is still trying to figure out. And I love just, hey, you want to see what the metaverse looks like? Come check out my office. Look at my avatar, and that just leaves that really impresses.
So let's talk about that, Kat. So you're meeting with people that do not have access to eXp World with a pass, bringing them into your virtual office on that platform?
Yeah, I have scheduled meetings on the platform because I want them to see. I use that. That's my flashy card right there. I can't, I don't have a Rolls Royce, but if I did, I can't pick them up on a Rolls Royce. But
but you need to give them a pass, correct?
Yes, yeah. You go to the world and you ask for a pass. At least that's how I've done it. Maybe there's an easier way, but I just go to the front desk for everything. They know me. Mary's a sweetheart. They pretty much know me.
Did they give you a room, or are you just meeting out on the plaza?
No, you get an assigned room. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't cost you anything to get the assigned room?
Not at all.
And you sit there. The other person gets an avatar also?
Yes, they get to, just a standard one. But usually we speak for about 5-10 minutes, show them how I can, dribble the ball outside, kind of, let me just show you a little bit of this, and then I take them back to a Zoom call.
I want to do this with you. I want you to show me this.
Okay.
I mean,
have a meeting with him. Have a
Oh,
meeting
of
with him.
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good practice. We'll play. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
honestly, I've gone to like a state meeting
Mhm.
for Massachusetts once, and I stayed for about 10-15 minutes before I got bored. Today it was Brent Gove was talking. There were a few other people, and then there was, and they called it an eye conversation.
The
There were
icon
3 or 4
those
icon
series are
agents.
great. The icon series are amazing. I mean, I've learned a lot from that. And there's just so much that they offer us, and so thousands of hours of university hours. I mean, access to Grant Cardone's university for free. I mean, there's just so much that literally you could spend all day just learning, getting
Absolutely.
and then you say, oops, what now what? Now I got to go out there and prospect. I got to get my CMAs done. I have work to do. But that is what's so beautiful. And that's what sold me on eXp was the fact that I'm a sponge. I want to learn. I need to learn. How do I want to speak to the experts, and having access to be able to listen in and participate and ask questions directly to these icon agents. It's not easy to become an icon. You got to sell. You got to.
So eXp in Florida. What's going on down there? How would you describe it? How many like physical offices are there in addition to Regis? Do you have numbers like that?
No, I don't. I know.
How many agents?
I
Do
don't
you know
know.
how many agents there are in Florida?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't.
Because I know at least a
There's a
couple.
lot. I mean, especially in the Hispanic market, there are a lot. There's a big group, C5, which is actually the group that I came in under. They're picking up people left and right. I mean, they're great. They're great at what they do, and they also offer their own marketing and sales support, right? Access to 2 calls a week, and if you need help, they'll hand hold you. So there's just a lot of support. Now, physical offices, we've got the Regis. I used it once or twice, and then I said, oh, I've got the metaverse. I've got my beautiful laptop, and I can just meet anywhere.
Right.
And nobody wants to sit in an office anymore. If I'm dealing with a client who's not sure because he really needs to sit in an office, that's not my client. That's not the profile of client that I need to work with. If I have to explain,
It's a different world.
to trust me, exactly.
Not that many people walking the streets looking for a real estate agent. They just go to their phone or their laptop or whatever. And
It's still referral driven, a lot of it, but there are so many agents and so many coaches out there that we've had and spoken to that talk about prospecting and daily prospecting. But the prospecting here, especially with the KV Core site and the CRM you have, you come into your dashboard and everything you have to do that day is right in front of you.
It's amazing.
It tells you the number of calls. It tells you who to talk to. If your clients have been looking at properties that you set up searches for them. If they're looking at properties, it shows you right there. Hey, Joe Alfred looked at this, and Molly looked at this, and they haven't been on looking for. Go ahead.
Right, that you could set up with your phone, with your cell phone. So the minute that one of these, anybody goes in to look, I have it set up to the caller ID on my phone is money is calling. So the minute I get a message or a phone call, like money is calling, you got to look at that. You can't put that on snooze. But it's amazing. It is a really smart system. It is. It's. I have a lot of colleagues, friends that don't really use it much. Because they were really busy. They're very, very busy, and it does take some time to.
Are you talking about the Make It Rain program?
No,
No.
I have
No, I'm
before.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the regular pay nothing for it, the way it's set up, the way it works. It's really quite amazing. And it's got artificial intelligence. So if somebody's looking for a specific type of property, or how clients get, all of a sudden they're kind of narrow. They're looking everywhere, and then they get narrower and narrower, and you can see that, and so can the algorithms, and it begins feeding you just those properties. So it learns for you, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be on there looking.
But learning about all of those things, it takes time.
Yeah.
Right? And it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly haven't gone through the fast track there's 14 modules. I haven't gotten through all of them. And I'm
It-
at the point where now I want to start from the beginning again, because I
Yeah.
know it's a Ferrari, and you've got to know how to drive
Yeah,
it. So they
yeah. Well, on that front, I just finished it, the onboarding, and there's 4 modules, and there's, but the cool thing about it is that it's set up in a way where it's like 7-minute, 8-minute videos, and you watch it, and you can use that right away. But then it becomes, because it's named in such a way that if you needed to, swap out a video or change some language or something, you just go to that video and it tells you how to do it again. So it's just like I'm always forgetting what I just learned. And you have to kind of go back to it. The most maddening thing, though, for me is there's not just one way to do anything. There's often 2 and 3 ways to do something. So you can noodle around, and then you say, well, how did I just do that? How did I get there? But it's an incredible platform, and it does pretty much everything for you.
So I have an update. As you know, let's see, got the book here. So the book cover, a little shrunken down in the corner, broker's face, broker's name in big letters. In this case, it was Beatrice, one of our eXp brokers. Last week, well, actually up until yesterday, it said forward by, and it would have the broker's name and my name at the bottom as author. Changed it. Forward is a bottleneck. Why is forward a bottleneck? Broker has to read the book, then has to write a forward. No more bottleneck. I still think it makes sense to read the book, but it says now, instead of forward by, it says this, in quotes, change your life gift has been presented to you by, and it'd be Larry or Kat. And it's plug and play. You want it, you bang out the cover, send out the books, and the books get disseminated.
That's great.
And what I've also learned is you say, yes, it's a gift, but it's a gift that I'm lending you for 3 days. This is a gift because it's going to change your life. And I'm going to call you in 3 days to discuss the book with you. And I'm going to get this book back from you so I can then give it to other people. But if you join, you're going to get as many books as you want with your picture and your name on the cover so that you can grow your team.
So why 3 days? Why 3 days, Jim? I mean, I'm reading the book.
If you give listen, we all know that everyone's busy. If they don't look at that book in 3 days at all,
look at it.
You're just going to keep putting it off.
Yeah.
If you give it to them and don't say I want it back and give them a certain period of time, people just are too busy.
Yeah.
How many people are going to say to you, I mean, they say it to me, tell me about eXp, you got 5 minutes. Tell me about eXp, I'm going to give you 20 seconds.
Right.
Why I wrote the book.
Yeah.
And one book obviously is not enough because I already have the outline for the next book.
Right.
This is an education. This is why we do this show, because we're talking about one little or 2 little aspects of a huge concept. It's beyond technology. It's beyond branding. Let's face it, even if you just looked at network marketing, it's a company that stands out above and beyond all the network marketing companies. Why are people getting real estate licenses with no plan to sell real estate? Why are we number 4 on Glassdoor, beating out Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, and Remax in the top 100 by far? I mean, Remax is just barely in the top 100. They're 99. Coldwell Banker, I think it was like 54 or 39, and KW was 39 or 54. I mean, we're number 4. That's pretty amazing. Top 5 all companies based on the recommendations of the people that work there, the employees.
Right.
In which case we've changed really the terminology of what a team is or even what an employee is, because we're really all shareholders.
Right.
When eXp has a shareholder meeting, that's not really a shareholder meeting. Just about all 82,000 agents are shareholders.
Right.
They're given stock. You're given stock when you sell property. You're given stock when you bring more people onto your team. You're given stock when you hit certain production milestones every year. In some cases, huge amounts of stock, $8,000 worth of stock. And then another 8,000 if you do a couple of things, including going to a meeting. I'm going to give you $2,000 worth of stock for going to a meeting.
That you're going to
Pretty cool.
benefit from anyway.
Right.
Yeah. We could go on and on. This has been a jam-packed 30 minutes. Thank you, Katherine McAninch, for being
Just
here.
Cat. Make it simple.
Cat Miami, Cat McAninch, however.
Yeah.
When you think Miami, you think of me, okay?
Miami.
Please. Please.
Please.
Thank you so much, Kat, for joining
Thanks, Kat.
Thanks for all of our viewers. Oh, and the people that wrote in those questions.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for watching us live.
Finally, we're getting better here. Thanks, Kat. It was great.
Recording stopped.